Well, it's that time of the year again. It's Christmas. So I want to give you a little story, a little Christmas story to cheer you up um, and wish you a Merry Christmas. And of course, the stories that I tell are mostly about mental illness in hospitals and whatever. They're not about Christ and three wise men and all that. A young man is found at the door of a mental hospital. He is cold, he is freezing, he is bruised, he is bleeding, he is seriously ill. They take him in. They discover that he attempted to commit suicide, and they give him a place of safety. They discover also that he, through their inquiry, that he is a millionaire, and that many people had been taking his money. Many official people, doctors, lawyers, security people, and everything to protect this man. You see, because his parents had died in a tragic accident and left him with this money and no other family. And he didn't know how to deal with it. So these people took ownership of all his belongings and promised they would look after him. And it was quite obvious that in this state, no one was looking after him. So they take him into the hospital. And for days and days, he goes to the library and reads books. He's grateful of being accepted by this hospital, and he participates and complies with all the medication and all the things that he needs to get him back outside. So, but he continues to go to the library and read many books. He's never had that opportunity because his parents died and he was put into a situation with this money. And one day he says to the nurses, "Can I go outside? I'm ready to go outside for a walk." So they go outside for a walk, and they escort him out and they walk him around the grounds. And there's about 50, 60 men and women who shout his name and say, "Hey, what are you doing? We're waiting for you. Why are you not coming out? What's going on? Why are they taking you in?" And they start blaming the hospital and they start ridiculing the nurses for taking their friend away. "We need you. We have no food. We have nothing." It was quite obvious by the nurse that they were also needful of his financial position. They were all drunk and were taking drugs and they looked a mess and "Why are you not taking us? We have nowhere to go. Please come back." And of course they ridicule again the nurses and call them names for taking their friend away, you see. So the nurses quickly take the young man who doesn't respond back into the hospital. And they ask him about these friends, and he says, "Well, they're my only friends, you know. They really care about me. And I have a lot of money, so I can help and support them." And the nurse says, "Are you helping and supporting them in the right way then?" "Well, you know, I don't know how to I'm reading these books in the library. It's about, you know, how to be a good friend. And I'm realizing that maybe I'm not that good friend by giving them just all this stuff." And she says, "Well, you continue to read the books, and when you're ready to go, you can go." So a few days pass, and the threats from the men outside continue to, haunt the hospital. But eventually they give the young man, through the nurses, through the security, an ultimatum. If he's not out within a few days, then they're going to find someone else to be their friend. So the young man is kept in and not told about this. And one day he says, I think I'm ready to go back into the world. I've read so many books. I'm grateful for you removing all the people that were taking the money." And they said, "Well, they were just using you. They are official people. We would expect them to do much better for you. They were just taking your money. They were doing nothing for you. So we have taken them off, and we have given you guardianship of your own money again. And we have given you a way of how to manage it and all that." He says, he said, "You are grateful. I want to go out and buy you all some gifts." And they said, "No, it's a hospital. No, I want to go." and I want to go um, escorted because I still feel that these people may be aware. And she said, okay, we will escort you. So he goes out with this, and there's no one, no, all the friends, so-called friends, had disappeared. So they go down to the shops, he buys some gifts. And on the way back, he sees some of his friends on a hill. And he says that they're up there. And they wave, but they don't wave with a threatening way, they wave with a friendly way. But there's only a few of them. And he says, okay. He waves back and goes back into the hospital and gives the nurses a gift. He says, I think I'm ready to go. I think the ones that are on the hill have, really need help. And they said, oh, it's up to you. You're free to go. We cannot detain you. And he decides to thank the nurses, gives them their gifts and hugs and goes to the librarian and gives her a special gift because the books had saved his life, you see. Especially a couple of books about being a good friend and how to live your life in a free way. So he leaves and he goes up onto the hill, watched by the nurses. And you realize that the men look more humble. And there's 12 of them. And they come and they put their hand out and they shake their hand and say, we're sorry, we've always been your friend, but we feel as if we've been a bad friend. We've been using you. And we've been following like sheep the other ones, the leaders of the gang, but they're all gone now. They've abandoned us also. And we want to help you. We want to be your good friend. We want to give you so much love, affection, and we want to look after you in case others come and get you. And he says, oh, great, I want to go and I want to buy you some food and bread. No, we want to be your friend. And he says, no. So he goes away. She says, stay there, remain there, I'll be back. And he goes away and he comes back with some hot bread and pies and cups of coffee and tea. And he gives them. He says, why are you doing this to us? He says, I wanted one thing when I was in hospital. I read books and everything and I wanted one thing. I just wanted to have a friend. And here I have 12. So I want to repay you for being a friend, for staying here, for seeing the light. And they said, but we always wanted to be your friend. We were always your friend, but we were friendly in the wrong way. And they eat and they laugh and he tells stories about the hospital and he tells so much funny stories and he tells about the books and the librarian and how his life changed and he speaks about his parents for the first time and he says, I miss my parents but they gave me all this money and I've been foolish and I've just been so vulnerable and taken a loan of. And he said, yes, that's why we're here. So the young man says, well, let's start from here. And he takes out a bottle of red wine and some plastic cups and he puts them down, 12 cups and one for himself. And he pours a little of the red wine in each cup and he says, it's from this day forward that we go. And they toast the future. And him and the 12 men, they go and they set up some business. And they go to the bakers and all the shops in the local community. And they arrange an account to be paid on a daily basis. And the 12 of them and this young man, they go every morning and they pick up some hot pies and bread and food and milk and stores. And they deliver it freely to every house in the area that they feel is an impoverished. And they leave them at the doorstep and people come and they pick them up and they eat and they wave and they just love this idea of someone doing something for them for nothing. And this business goes on and they don't aspire to be anything more than this little group of people who want to help and want to make sure that people have got some things at Christmas time and birthdays and everything. And they are so loved by this community. And then one day, they get to meet in the morning. They meet at the same place on this hill every morning, where they set out their plan of what they're going to do, where they're going to visit for the day. And on this particular morning, they all turn up except the young man. He doesn't turn up. And they say, where is he? Let's go to his house. And they go to his house and they look and they can't find him. And so someone shouts, on the hill, look on the hill. And they look on the hill, and here he is, this young man. He's pinned to a tree, a post, and a tree. And he has been stabbed 4 or 5 times and hung up with a placard around his neck saying, we don't like do-gooders taking away our businesses, our jobs, our lives, our ability to be humans. This is what happens to those that do good. And of course, the young men, they untie him and they give him, and they grieve and they give him a memorial, and his money is taken away, and the little money they have left, money is taken away by the government and all the other people that eventually wanted the money in the first place. The businesses get their money back, the drug dealers all get their money back, and they take this man down and they give him some sort of burial. And they write a book. And that book was one of the reasons, because the man changed his life through reading books in this library. And he loved books, he loved how they were written, and they decided that they would do this in his honor. And these 12 men wrote this incredible book, which took many, many years to finish. And the book was just about how to be a good friend. They call it another name in religion and all that stuff. But really it is how to be good. How to be just a good person. So I hope you have some goodness this year at Christmas. I hope you find a little bit of joy in giving away a gift or receiving a gift. And I hope you remember that this man was always going to shine a light and reveal the goodness, especially at this time of the year. Be happy, be with your family, be grateful, be kind, be compassionate. And be memorial, be remembering of this young man. Merry Christmas. I love you.